What's up? What's up, everybody? What's going on? Happy Tuesday. I am so excited. Happy Tuesday, y'all. I'm, let's see. Ooh, let's see. This is a lot. Okay, I'm going live a different way. But happy Tuesday. I'm so excited to connect with you guys on a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And that is, of course, like childhood obesity. That is also children who have gained weight. I think that kids are not advocated enough on the adult side when it comes to weight gain. And that's actually one of my favorite things to do. So, my background is in physical education. I was going to be a PE teacher for the Department of Defense. Didn't work, but I found myself as a fitness instructor, and I really love to teach women and children at the same time. And that came from my mom being an example to me as a 5-year-old D. So this conversation is going to be real. I'm just going to go ahead and say it like that. It's probably going to step on some toes. If you have comments, please put the comments in the chat so we can have these discussions with one another and we can have some like real changes in our community, especially in the Black community when it comes to kids being overweight. Now, this is the important part to understand. These past 2 years have been a doozy to everyone. Okay, these past 2 years have been a doozy to kids and to adults. And if you know you didn't gain 20 pounds, then it's highly likely that the kids in your household have gained weight as well, or people that are kids that are around your home or whatever it is. And I just want to give you 10 keys on how you can support the child in healthier living, or how you can have the conversation, and also things to watch out for when you are trying to offer a healthier lifestyle to a kid. Because this is a very sensitive time. And it doesn't matter if they're 5, it doesn't matter if they're 3, it doesn't matter if they're 15. What you say matters. What you say right now and how you treat them, whether you're joking or not, 100% will dictate how they respond in the world when it comes to health. Okay. And so I have 10 things. Put a 5 in the chat if you are ready to have this discussion, and put a 4 in the chat if you have any children that are close to you. Like you are maybe a guardian, a grandmother, aunt, father, whatever, that are close to you. It might be a sister or brother that you know, like, this is a great conversation. So let me know in the chat where you're at with that. Number 1. Take responsibility for your role in the child gaining weight. I think it's so important for us to take responsibility in that role, because a lot of adults don't want to say, I am a pivotal reason as to why this child is unhealthy. And what I've noticed, because I pay attention to the trends with like kids and adults, as the mother or as the father or as the sibling gains weight, the child does too. And you can see families in Walmart or Target or in the mall or whatever, and they're all built the same because they have the same diet, they're eating the same ways, and they're the same level of activity. Okay? And so we really got to get real about it. Like, what was my part in this? And in that conversation with yourself, you say, I was responsible for this, but I'm not going to blame it on the kid. In the same token, I'm going to forgive myself for not being loyal to my child or to this child that's in my life, in regards to their health. Number 2, you have to lead with love and leadership. Okay? One thing I see a lot of is when it comes to weight loss, because the parent or the older person, the guardian, has to lose weight, then you want to attach that to a child too. So what you say to yourself in the mirror, it ends up coming out on that kid too. You might say, oh, my stomach getting big. And then you look at a 5-year-old and say, oh, your stomach getting big too. Right? That's not leading with love. That's leading with hate. And that's even leading with hate in your own self, talking to your own self in the mirror. And you really got to be careful with even when you're in the mirror talking, right? And the child is there and they hear you talking down to yourself. You got to lead with love and leadership. You got to lead with love and you got to lead with action. So if the child sees you active and the child sees you loving on yourself and the child sees you walking or talking on the phone like, hey girl, yeah, meet me at the gym. I promise you, A kid is listening. My mom used to take me to the YMCA, and that's the reason I'm a fitness instructor now. She took me to the YMCA, and the teacher said it's time to do step. Everybody get your steps out. I was 5 years old. I got my step out, and she said, "You can't take this class because you're too small." You guys, it lit a fire in me so much that I said, when I get older, I'm going to be a better teacher than you, and I'm going to let kids exercise with their moms. Rock me to my core. And if that did that to me at 5 years old, and the first thing I wanted to do when I got old enough to have a job was to be a fitness instructor, what do you think will happen, right? When you lead with love and leadership in a healthy lifestyle, it's going to be the same way. You literally can dictate to your child the direction that they're going, but you have to lead through your actions, and it has to be authentic. And as the children are younger, they're even more sensitive to what they're hearing because they take it exactly for what you say. They're not going to understand when you had a bad day. They're not going to understand if you were just playing or whatever. They're not going to understand that. They're going to hear it and they're going to take that to heart. So that's number two. Number three, and adults, I want you to put some comments in here. Tell me if you remember this, because I remember it. Don't make sideways comments about their weight and give them a nickname associated with their weight. How many of us had a nickname? Put it, you can put it in the chat that you did or didn't, had a nickname associated with your weight or your size. And let me tell you, although we may have gotten used to it, I'm pretty sure if we think back to it at some point, it was annoying. At some point, we didn't want that. We just wanted to be called our name. That's it. And I remember as a little girl, my grandfather used to call me Slowpoke. And I hated it. I just really, really hated it. I just wanted him to call me by my name. And that's what we want to break, that toxic cycle of calling somebody out of their name, especially for our children. Like, they need to be protected. And if they can't be protected from their parents and their guardians and people they trust, their teachers, then who are they going to be protected from? Like, who's going to advocate for them? So we want to make sure we call them by their names. Even if they gain weight, don't call them chubby. Don't call them whatever. That's not cool, right? Because that really does affect us. We just keep that in the back of our head, like, I'm always going to be this size. And we don't want to perpetuate that within this generation, okay? Number four, get healthy with them. If the child in your life is unhealthy, it's because probably you helped with that. And with the pandemic, there was just a lot of junk food in the house, overeating, underactivity, fear, anxiety, depression. All of the things were happening, and it was happening to the kids too, right? So you have to make the decision, I'm going to get healthy with you. We're going to get healthy together. And so there's going to be good days together. There's going to be iffy days together. There're going to be breakthrough days together. And you're just going to keep doing that day by day, year by year, you guys. And health is not a destination. It's a journey. You don't just quit. You're like, oh, my child lost 10 pounds and now I quit. Now you quit on them. Now you say, I'm going to eat this Popeyes. You're going to eat this salad because you're fat. No, you're doing this with them. Because, let me tell you, I have friends who are nurses who have seen 16-year-olds who are diabetic. Or some of y'all probably taking children to the hospital and they're pre-diabetics because of their diet and sedentary lifestyle, right? What type of conversation and how mentally damaging that is when a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old has to hear you have diabetes because of the way you live. And they have nothing to do with that initially, right? So you want to make sure you get healthy with them. Number 5, do not use exercise as punishment. This is what we learned in PE, right? Even though PE teachers don't do this, but we learned this in school, in college, that we should not use exercise as punishment. And that's because children will associate exercise with doing something bad that they have to punish themselves with. And exercise should actually be something good to keep them active and keep their heart strong, okay? Number 6, write this one down. Put them in developmentally appropriate activities, okay? Put them in developmentally appropriate activities. If they're still growing, there's just some things that they do not need to be doing. Okay? If you have an 8-year-old that wants to work out, that wants to get healthy, they should not be doing the same exercises and weight as a grown person. And I want you guys to I want you to really think about this. It doesn't matter the size of the child. The child could be, I could have a baby girl my size at 13. She's not fully developed yet, so she can't do the weights that I do. She can't do the activities that I do. Okay? If you have a trainer for your child should not be doing the same weight as you. If they are not 18, sometimes 21 for men. They should not be doing that. Y'all should not be doing the same weight. And that's because their growth plates can get damaged. They don't have the fine motor skills to properly execute the exercises. They don't know how to do this. They can hurt themselves. Developmentally appropriate is important. Putting them in activities with kids their same age so they learn how to interact with them. Right? Putting them in activities where they interact with all different types of people. But we really want to make sure that they're in developmentally appropriate activities. Period. Don't try to rush them into a level that they're not in. Don't try to say, "Oh, you're my size. You can do the same weight as me." No, they can't. They're 13. I don't care how strong a child is. They have to learn it. Okay, I'm really, really big on that one. Number 8, let them be involved in the nutrition portion of planning. Let them be involved in grocery shopping. Let them be involved in cooking. Let them be involved in making recipes and all of the things, because they have to learn how to do it on their own. And I know a lot of times we want to be like, "Oh, I just want to finish it up so they can do this and that." Teach them how to meal prep. Okay? Teach them. I get that question all the time. "D, can you teach me how to meal prep?" So at some point, your parents never taught you how to pack a lunch. Teach your children how to meal prep. Teach them where to buy water. Teach them pH water. These kids understand that. Okay? Teach them how to use MyFitnessPal. Teach them how to count their steps. Teach them how to thaw out meat. Teach them, right? Let them be involved. What type of smoothie are we drinking in the morning, right? What fruit are we putting on top of our oatmeal? What all are we putting in our salad today? Wednesdays are the day you get to plan the meal. What are we having? What vegetable are we having? What fresh fruit are we having? What protein are we having? And then you are able to teach them portion control. You're able to teach them how much to eat, things to look out for. And then you give them the opportunity too, because kids research, give them the opportunity as well to teach you. Okay. Number 9, be consistent and don't let them down. I've seen so many adults be so hard on kids. Like, "Oh, they just lazy. They don't want to go out and play." Well, you don't want to go to the gym. I've tried to get you to stay consistent on your nutrition program and go to the gym, and you won't do that, but you mad because your kid don't want to stop playing the game. Right? You have to be consistent with them and really let them know, when you lose the weight, when we get healthier together, it still does not stop. We're not going to stop and be like, "Oh, we only eating chips for the rest of our life." No. This is a journey, right? Do not stop. And a lot of y'all will do something for other people than you would do for yourself. So do it for your child, right? Get healthy for your child. And lastly, this is going to be very, very big in order to provide a balance between everything. And that is prioritizing rest, self-care, and self-confidence in this journey. So when you're having a great week, right, and you just finished your 21 days or your 14-day challenge or whatever you did with your kid, you can ask them, like, "How are we going to celebrate our wins?" Maybe it's getting a pedicure or manicure. Maybe it's going to get some ice cream after 30 days. Maybe it's buying some new exercise clothing. Maybe you do a special certificate for them. right? Maybe you celebrate them in a special way, but you want to make sure you really prioritize that self-confidence, because if they have gained weight, I'm pretty sure they're getting picked on. And if they're not just getting picked on by kids, they're probably getting picked on by other adults, possibly in their own household. So you really want to reinforce self-confidence. And this is the part about reinforcing self-confidence within children. You don't reinforce the self-confidence by like the amount of weight they lost. You reinforce it by things that you don't see. Their focus, their consistency, their communication with you, right? The way that they I don't know, the way that they wake up on time, great job. The way that they're really committed to their health, good job. You're creating new recipes. Like, you really want to praise their self-confidence that's not attached to a number, because I think a lot of us adults are very attached to the number on the scale because nobody ever reinforced the non-physical wins, right? When the non-physical wins are in line and people get that recognition, then they'll keep going. Self-care, really saying like, we taking care of ourselves. Teach them about Epsom salt baths. Teach them about relaxation. Teach them about that. That's really big. And prioritizing rest. Okay? You cannot run a child into the floor. That's not how you get them healthier. You can't be like, oh, we going to run 5 miles. We're going to run 10 miles. And the child ain't done none of that, right? They can get hurt with that. So you want to prioritize rest. Teaching them that it's important to rest. Teaching them that it's important to fuel your body before you go to bed. Teaching them that it's important, like, to listen to your body. If they wake up and they're like, Mom, Dad, big sis, whatever, I don't feel well, I like, and you know it's not them like feeling lazy, you might have to ask that question, like, is it that you're sleepy? Are you very sore? Asking them that. You really want to help them to prioritize rest, because these kids are not getting rest. They're staying on the game, they're staying on the internet all night, they're not getting rest. And we already know the body will recover through rest. So that's very, very important to teach your children as well. Setting those time limits on devices. I know it's easier said than done, but this is going to be a part of their health. This is going to be a part of their health. And so I hope those 10 things really, really helped you. Hey, Jazz. I hope those 10 things really, really helped you, because I think a lot of us have body dysmorphia, and that's basically you looking in a mirror, seeing something different than what you're actually experiencing. Okay. A lot of us have maybe been big before, and we lost weight, and then we look in the mirror and we still feel big. So we continue to talk ourselves down, right? Some of us have made great lifestyle changes. Let's just say we stopped smoking or something like that. We look in the mirror and we still see the person who used to smoke all the time. And what you don't want is a child that's 9 years old, that's 10 years old, to remember being a big child, and they look in the mirror and they still feel big and unhealthy, and they take that into their adulthood. They start to develop eating disorders, right? They start to listen to TikTok and say, okay, I need to just eat eggs. I need to just drink water for 3 days. And that ends up making your child ill, right? So you guys, when being a kid, I remember when I moved to Japan, I was 200 pounds when I moved to Japan. I was wearing a size 13. I can tell you what clothes I had on that day. I remember getting on a scale at 13 years old in Japan. Everything's smaller in Japan. In Japan, and literally crying because I was like, I'm 13 and I'm 200 pounds and I'm the biggest thing in here. And back then, people were not advocating for kids, so adults would just say whatever came to their mouth. And that really, really hurt me when I was 13. And so I joined sports. And when I joined soccer, I remember running 13 miles in a day. I started off eating 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which wasn't always as healthy as, by the way. And then I ended up only eating lunch. And because I wanted to be skinny like everybody else, I would only eat half of my lunch. And then I got to the point where I would not eat lunch. And then that's when I started like going down the rabbit hole on how to make yourself skinny, right? Learning. And back then, a lot of eating disorders were were on TV, and so it was kind of like, okay, do I need to do this in order to be skinny? Because there was just no talk about like healthier living. And unfortunately, a lot of adults do that right now. I'm not going to eat. I'm going to punish my body. I'm going to do this diet. I'm going to talk bad about myself. And it ends up really being an issue, right? And so we don't want to perpetuate that toxic activity into the lives of our children. They have enough to worry about. They have enough challenges to go through. And we don't want them to do that just because we went through it. Like, if you love your kids, if you loved your kids, you will love yourself. And not just behind closed doors. If you loved your kids, you will love yourself publicly. You will definitely love yourself in front of them. You would compliment yourself. How do I look? I look good. And you would tell your child they look good too. You will work out with them as well. And you don't pick at their downfalls. Don't pick at, oh, you got a stomach. I don't got no stomach. Right? We're not doing that. And so y'all know I love to advocate for the kids. And all the challenges I do are open to children as well. And I really love to connect with them. So if you have children that are overweight, don't put that to the side, because you want to give them a chance to be children. You had a chance to be a child and play sports and dance and run and go on. Give your child a chance to do all of those things. Because let me tell you, if I was 13 years old at 200 pounds, where would I be right now if I didn't get healthier? If I was 200 pounds at 13 years old and I had not gotten healthy and got into sports and learned more about eating, I would probably be 300, 350 pounds, 400 pounds. Because y'all know how easy it is to gain weight when you're younger. When you're older. Right? And we want to give our kids a chance. And there are some kids who just going to be naturally solid like I was. But guess what? I could have been solid and unhealthy or solid and healthy. But my mother had to lead by example. My dad led by example. And so I just fell in line with that. So I just wanted to share with you guys that, because I think advocating for the children is very important. Go back and listen to this video if you do have a child that's overweight, so that you can see how to lead by example and how to lead with love in order to turn their health into the right direction. Don't ignore it. Okay? Do not ignore it, because it's going to come back later and bite you in the butt and bite you in the hospital bill. Okay? So I love y'all. I love the kids. If you have any stories that you want to share with me, definitely inbox me. Let's connect. Let's get the kids healthier. Love you.